Good day, this is Bennett, also known as Jeremiah. Today we're going to talk about how to solve for x, y, and z using the substitution method. If you're interested in more videos, the playlist is found at the end of this video. It is also found right here on the top right of the screen at the suggested video. So, let's begin. So I want you to notice that whenever you are solving for two equations, the easiest method would be substitution because it seems to work everywhere. Now when it comes to solving for three equations, the easiest method that works everywhere is still substitution. So first of all, let's name these three equations. So let's call the first one equation 1, let's call the other one equation 2, and let's call this one equation 3. If you want, you can say 1, 2, 3, or you can even say ABC, up to you. So the next thing you'll do is that you look for the easiest thing that we can make the subject of the formula. Now the variable that is the easiest to make the subject of the formula is the one that has got no coefficient in front, or simply an invisible one. For instance, this has got no coefficient in front, meaning that there is an invisible one, right? This also has got no coefficient in front. This also has got no coefficient in front, meaning that you can choose any one of these three. So my choice will be the second one. You can choose anyone, literally. You can choose this one or this one or this one, up to you. So I'm just choosing this one from the second equation. So I want to make it the subject of the formula. So if I want to make it the subject of the formula, I'll end up having to take these other ones to the other side of the equation so that I can make z the subject of the formula. So now I'll end up having z is equals to, so when I take this to the other side, we're going to have minus 3x, and then when I take this one, we're going to have minus 2y, and then when I take this one, we're going to end up having plus 10. This is going to be my equation 4. I've created a new equation. So the simple thing is, after you have made one variable the subject of the formula, you have to substitute it into the other equations that you did not manipulate. Once you do that, it will go back to solving for x and y, so it will become easier. So let me demonstrate it. So now I'm going to first substitute this into the first equation, right? So I'm going to substitute it in the first equation. So I'm going to tell them that I'm going to substitute equation 4, right, into the one that I did not manipulate, which was equation 1. So first I'm going to substitute it into equation 1. Then afterwards I'll substitute it into equation 3. So for now, let me start with 1. So if I'm substituting z into equation 1, it means I'll write equation 1 exactly the same. It's just that in place of z, I'll have to put what z is equals to. So I'm going to write equation 1 exactly the same, right? Not changing anything except for z. So in place of writing z, I'm going to write what z is equals to. So then this will be the brackets. Then we're going to have minus 3x minus 2y plus 10. So that's what we did. So notice that in place of z, I just put what z is equals to. And then afterwards, we're going to say plus 4, right? So we're going to say plus 4 because we're writing that equation exactly the same. It's just that in place of z, we have to substitute what z is equals to. Let's simplify this equation. First of all, let's just write everything exactly the same. So now notice that we are multiplying this stuff, right? So now we're going to have plus 9x, and then when you multiply this stuff, we're going to have plus 6y, and then finally when you multiply this, we're going to have minus 30, right? Then we've got plus 4, so we're going to have plus 4 equals to 0. So let's simplify it further. So even if you don't choose to simplify, there is nothing to lose, but you'll do good when you simplify. So grouping like terms, 9x plus x is 10x, so we've got 10x. Then 2y plus 6y is 8y. Then from here, we've got minus 30 plus 4, which is minus 26. So there we have it. Let me just choose to take this to the other side. Even if you don't do it, there is nothing to lose. So you can manipulate these equations however you want. So that's what we have. So we're going to have 26. So I've simplified it. But notice that if I want to, I can still simplify it further. So it's up to you. You can leave it like this. You can also simplify it further. There is nothing to lose. So notice that everything is divisible by 2. So if I divide everything by 2, I'm going to have 5x plus 4y. And then this is going to be equals to 13. So I've made it as simple as possible. So let me name this equation because I've created a new equation. Let me call this equation 5. Alright, so now notice I substituted z into this equation because I did not manipulate it. So I also have to substitute z into this equation because I did not manipulate it. So this time I'm going to tell them substitute the new equation that I've created, right? The one that has Z as the subject of the formula. So I'm going to tell them substitute equation 4 into equation 3, the one that I did not manipulate. So I'll tell them substitute equation 4, the one that I created first, right? Into the one that I did not manipulate, which is equation 3. So notice that first of all, I took this equation and I substituted it into the first one that I did not manipulate. And then now I have to take this equation again and substitute it into the second one that I did not manipulate. So it means that I'll write this equation exactly the same. It's just that in place of Z, I have to write what Z is equals to. So I'm going to say 2x minus y, so 2x minus y. So I'm going to say 2x minus y. And then from there, so 2x minus y, then plus z. But instead of z, I have to write what z is equals to. So then we're going to end up having plus. So what is z equals to? Z is equals to minus 3x minus 2y plus 10. So we're going to have minus 3x. So let me just enlarge this bracket. So we're going to have minus 3x minus 2y plus 10. Alright, then from here we have minus 3 is equals to 0. So we're going to have minus 3 equals to 0. From here, notice that this bracket has got no effect because there is nothing to multiply the bracket. So we're just going to have 2x minus y. Notice that this is just the same as an invisible one in front. So when I multiply it, it really has got no effect in the bracket. So it's just going to be minus 3x minus 2y plus 10. Minus 3 equals to 0. And then let's simplify it. 2x minus 3x is minus x. And then y minus 2y is minus 3y. So we have minus 3y. Then we're going to end up having 10 minus 3, which is 7. So we're going to have 7 equals to 0. So then from here, if I want, I can divide everything by negative. So you can manipulate this however you want. There's no specific way to manipulate it. So when I divide everything by negative, this is what I'm going to have. Then I'm just choosing to take this to the other side of the equation, right? So I'm just choosing to have x plus 3y is equals to, so plus 3y is equals to 7. So I choose to leave it here. So let me call this my equation 6. So notice that we're done, right? Once we have taken this and substituted it into the one that we did not manipulate and also into the other one that we did not manipulate, we will have the normal simultaneous equations solving for x and y. So notice that I've created this equation, right? And I've also created this equation. So I'm going to write them together. Just before I continue, if you want to be tutored, whether it is online or physically, whether it is the situation where you're struggling in maths or whether it is the situation where you're good in maths but want perfection, take a screenshot or save these details. Whether you're studying Cambridge, which is the UK curriculum, or whether you're studying NSC, which is the South African curriculum, or IEP, or native courses which start from N1 to N6, or any curriculum you're doing no matter which country you're at, we offer tutorials. We've got lessons and practice sessions 5 days a week. We also give you tests once a week so that we can check your improvements. Just before we proceed, if you're interested in knowing the prices of the tutorials, the video that contains the prices and the updated contact details just in case these ones have changed is found at the end of this video. So I've rewritten the two equations, right? This was equation 5 and this one was equation 6. So now we're solving for x and y normally. So I'm going to use substitution method again since substitution seems to work everywhere. So the easiest thing to make the subject of a formula when I look at these two stuff is this stuff, right? Because it has got a coefficient of 1 in front. So if I make it the subject of the formula, I'm going to end up having 7 minus 3y. So then this is going to be my equation 7. So then I'm going to say substitute equation 7 into the one that I did not manipulate, which was equation 5. So I'm going to say into equation 5. Alright, so it means that I'm going to write equation 5 exactly the same. It's just that in place of x, I'll put what x is equals to. So then this is going to be 5, then we're going to have 7 minus 3y. Then we're going to have plus 4y. So we're going to have plus 4y equals to 13. So from here, we're going to end up having, when you multiply these two stuff, it's going to be 35. And then when you multiply these two stuff, we're going to end up having minus 15y. and then this is gonna be plus 4y equals to 13. And then from here, we're gonna, when group like terms, this is gonna end up being minus 11, literally. Yep, minus 11. And when we take 35 to the other side of the equation, we're gonna end up having 13 minus 35. So then this is gonna end up being minus 11y is equals to minus 22. And there we have it, the answer is coming out well. This thing is usually done on purpose for the answer to come out as the whole number. So we're gonna end up having y is equals to 2. So there we have it. We have solved for one variable, so we can easily get the other ones. So in order for me to find x, I just have to come back to these equations, right? So notice I've created the normal solve for x and y situation. So first you have to solve it according to the normal solve for x and y situation. Then afterwards, in order to get the third variable, you have to come back to the original questions. So first let's deal with our normal solve for x and y situation. So notice that we have got y. So in order to get x, we just have to substitute into any one of these three equations. So the easiest equation to substitute is the equation where x is already the subject, right? It's the third equation that I've created out of these two. So I'm gonna say x is equals to, so I'm gonna say x is equals to 7 minus 3y. And notice my y was 2, so I'm gonna have 7 minus 3 into 2. And then this is gonna be 7 minus 6. So I found x, right? X is 1. So notice when we created the solve for x and y situation, we have to solve both x and y using this situation. Then in order for us to get z, we have to go back to the normal situation. So that's how it is. Whenever you have got two variables, you first solve those two variables using this situation that you have created. Then in order to solve for the third variable, you go back to the original question. So far we have got x and y, right? We know that x is 1, right? So we know that x is 1 and y is 2. So now in order to get z, we have to go back to one of these situations, right? The original situations. So notice that the original questions were these equations. And then the easiest one to substitute is actually the one that we just created, because z is already the subject of the formula, right? You can substitute into any one of them, you still get your answer. But the easiest one is always the one that we've just created. So it's going to be z is equals to minus 3, and then our x was 1, right? And then 2, then our y was 2. And then we're going to have plus 10. And then from here we just have minus 3, then we're going to have minus 4 plus 10. And then from here minus 3 minus 4 is minus 7. So then we're going to have plus 10. And this was done on purpose, as you can see. Z is equals to 3. So there we have it. So this is how we know we're on the right track. So notice x is equals to 1, y is equals to 2, and z is equals to 3. Alright, we have reached the end of this video. I have included a playlist of similar type of questions. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Any questions you've got or any video you want me to create, please comment below. See you in the next video.